and better things. You know, my whole life I've said this, I've been stuck in Connecticut. I was born in Connecticut. I was raised in Connecticut. I went to school in Connecticut. I went to work in Connecticut. Everything I've ever done, except for when I traveled to play Street Fighter and or recently as I traveled to go to conventions and such, has been focused in Connecticut. But I'll be honest with you, it wasn't my choice. You know, I think there are plenty of other places that I would prefer to be than in Connecticut. And this is the first opportunity I've ever had in my entire life where I am primarily debt-free when it comes to credit card debt. You know, yes, I have two mortgages in my name now. I have a car that shortly will not be mine, but I'll be getting a new car to replace that. But outside of those obligations, monthly bills and such, I don't have a shitload of debt in my name that's been weighing me down. My credit score is great. I have savings that very shortly, probably over the course of the next year, I won't have anymore. But I have savings, and this is the only opportunity I've ever had in my entire life to do what I want and be where I want and have a life that I really feel I'm fully controlling. That's really what's held me back my whole life, is I've always had this, well, I would like to do this, but I can't because I can't afford it. I would love to do this, but I can't because I have a ton of credit card debt and I can't get the loan that I need to do it. I can't do this, I can't do that. And my whole life I want to do stuff and I'm being told, no, 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 no. And finally, after all the years that I've been here on YouTube and Twitch TV, all the hard work, all the dedication that I put into what I've been doing, finally it's come to fruition and I'm able to go where I want, to start what I feel like, I'll be honest, I'm 32 years old, and I feel like I'm finally starting my real adult life come this June. I know that's a big statement to make, but that is really how I kind of feel. I feel like everything up to this point has been the journey to get there, and then I'm finally gonna get there in June, you know? And it's hilarious because a lot of people love to criticize me and love to say that this is the wrong move. Phil, I don't understand. Phil is a YouTuber. His income is inconsistent. It could all go away tomorrow and he's moving, and he keeps saying that he's gonna spend a lot of money making this move. Why would he do that? And it's like, first of all, I love people who love to get into other people's business because it obviously means that you're not busy enough with your own business and your own life that you got to pry into other people's shit. And they love to turn shit into TMZ, right? Everything's always about TMZ. I got to be in other people's business and be a drama queen. I'm not a drama queen. I hate drama. I do. I actually detest it. Yet, more often than not, I end up finding myself involved in it because other people pull me in and I get tricked into it. You know, and that's a fault of mine. And that's why I'm not going to be specifically mentioning any people or anything, but the bottom line is that people don't know my situation. They speculate and they think these silly things that are completely and utterly untrue, all right? So, for example, some people are saying, well, Phil's views have declined. So, what is he doing moving to a place that is going to be expensive, emptying out his savings, supposedly, furnishing a new house when his views have declined? Listen. The bottom line is, I've said since I started on YouTube back in 2010, when all of a sudden I became like the guy for playthroughs on YouTube, that it was a wave of popularity. I couldn't believe it when it happened. I couldn't believe that I was doing a playthrough of some game no one really even talked about, and my first 20 parts of this playthrough would have more than 10,000 views each, right? And I was bringing in views hand over fist. I couldn't believe it. It was kind of like surreal to me that this would happen. And then, of course, the aggregate views that you would get when it's not new anymore, but then you wait 2-3 months, you go back, you're like, holy shit, look at all the new views I got on that playthrough that I never even went back and looked at it, and look at all those, and that's where all my views were coming from, these aggregate views. People were spreading the word. Darksydephil was the hot thing on YouTube, and, you know, it was awesome. And then at some point, it ended around, I'd say 2012, the wave of popularity finally ended. The tide turned. And people said, I want to see something fresh and different. I want to see something new. Yeah, Phil's been around the block, and, you know, that's great, but I want to see something. And that happens. That's a natural evolution. That's what happened to me with people who I used to watch, like the AVGN and the Nostalgia Critic. For a year or two, I loved their content, and then I kind of got burnt out on it to the point where I haven't watched it in years because I just don't care about it anymore, right? But that's not what you base success off of. Success is what you base off of consistency and the hardcore fan base that you earn through hard work, loyalty, honesty, and people who trust you. And even though, oh no, I'm not getting a ridiculous shit ton of views on everything I do anymore, I'm still getting enough views to make a good living doing what I'm doing. And that's all anyone needs to know. You don't need to care about my day-to-day fluctuations of views on, oh my God, I looked, and compared to March of last year and March of this year, Phil had less views. It doesn't matter. It's going to level out eventually. It will level out. The problem is you just don't know when it's going to level out. Now I'm finally seeing this year, 2014, I am seeing leveling out. Okay? It's the first time ever I'm seeing leveling out of my performance, meaning I pretty much know, even on my worst month, what I can expect views-wise, and I'm okay with that. It's actually good enough that I can make a living on that. So, for these people to be saying these ridiculous judgments, oh, he can't afford this, he can't do that, the thing I say is this. People say that, okay, I'm on YouTube and Twitch TV now as well. Twitch TV I do make income from. You know, their subscription program and a limited amount of ad revenue every month. And people, oh, it's inconsistent. How could Phil make this big life choice and move across the country? He's not one of these big YouTubers who's making millions of dollars, so how could he make such a judgment? Listen, you say that my income isn't consistent, okay? I've made this income since mid-2011, so for 3 solid years, I've made good income based off of what I've done, okay? How is that less consistent and less dependable than when I had an office job for 4.5 years, pretty much made the same amount of money every single year, and then it got laid off cold turkey out of nowhere with no warning, nothing. Never got disciplined, no problems, just you're done, laid off. And that's the bottom line, is that people who think that an office job or a 9-to-5 job or you know, a job where you punch a clock, that those are consistent jobs, you're wrong. That's not the nature of the job market, at least in the United States. I have absolutely no clue how anything works anywhere else in the country. I'm sorry, anywhere else in the world, because I've never worked in those places. But the bottom line is that it is not consistent. You are not guaranteed a job. When you actually go to work in 99% of the places in the United States of America, unless you work for a union, it's called at-will employment. Meaning that you're employed, but at any time your employer can just fucking dump you like a hot rock. They don't even need a fair justification. They could make shit up. They don't have to prove it. Now, of course, if they lie, you could take them to court later on and sue them for unemployment and possibly even sue them for the job back. Why you would want the job back of an employer that dumped you, I have absolutely no idea. But you have not a leg to stand on, right? None. Zero. Zip. Nothing. So for people to criticize me and say that my way of living is inconsistent, it's not steady, you know what? You're right. But guess what? No jobs are. I don't care if you're a construction worker. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a checkout guy at the local supermarket. I don't care if you're a bus driver. I don't care what job you have. It's not consistent. Overnight, it could go away. So to be self-employed and to be my own boss and to venture into things, the thing is, okay, so, all right, give it another year or two, the YouTube thing's dying out. I could always go get a job. I could go get a 9-to-5 job and still do the YouTube thing on the side as a supplemental income. Don't think I haven't thought about this stuff. The thing is, there's no jobs in Connecticut. And this is what people don't seem to understand. Oh, Phil's moving. It's so expensive. Well, listen, why do you think I'm moving to Washington State? Do you think I'm stupid? Washington State is a hotbed for internet and technological related business. Microsoft, Nintendo, tons of different companies related to the internet and such are all focused in the Seattle, Washington area. Duh. If I ever were to go into a business that was related to the internet, that's probably the area of the country I would want to live in. The only other area that probably would have somewhere that could pick me up is LA, but LA is incredibly expensive, horrible weather in regards to pollution, terrible traffic, horribly overpopulated. So, you know, when you think about this stuff, of course I'm always thinking about this. You know? All this has been part of my plan from the get-go, that eventually I was going to get out of Connecticut, which is incredibly overpriced, way too many taxes on everything, insurance is more expensive here, the businesses are leaving Connecticut in droves. The company that laid me off has laid off multiple times since then, and in fact is going to basically leave Connecticut within the next few years, if not just shut down altogether. It's funny because for those of you who've been watching my my vlogs, a few weeks ago I did my CT bucket list vlogs, and I went to the local movie theater that's literally across the parking lot from the office job I used to have, and I actually went to see this movie on a Friday, okay? And it was mid-afternoon, it was maybe 4 p.m. or something on a Friday. It used to be, that business used to be booming. Used to have 100 people, 200, 300 people in that building, constantly doing work or whatever at all times. When I drove by that Friday, it was a ghost town. Because guess what? The company laid everyone off, is going out of business. That's the situation here in Connecticut. All business is leaving Connecticut. It's a joke. The government here has no idea how to run anything. They're terrible at their jobs. I need to get out of here. So when people criticize me and say, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, and you know, I'm wasting my money, I'm dipping into my savings, it's called people talking out of their ass. Because number one, obviously, as I said, they don't have enough going on in their own life that's what they need to be focused on, that they need to spend time talking about me and my move. And number two, because they're drama queens who like to try to stir shit up to get attention. I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, everything that I do is very calculated. I think about it for a long time. Moving out of Connecticut is something I've been literally in my head planning for years. And it got to the point where I knew, you know, back in 2010, 2011, and then when I finally started making money doing this, I said, I'm going to save all my money, I'm going to pay off all my debt in the anticipation that comes several years later that this YouTube thing slows down, that I've set myself up in a position where I am safe to make this move. Okay? And yes, I do, in pre-streams, say, oh, please help me out. If you can, disable your ad block when you watch my content. Please, if you could afford it, please become a paid subscriber here on my Twitch channel. Absolutely, I do that because I'm trying to future-proof myself. Right now, I'm in a good situation. Who knows what's going to happen with technology, what's going to happen with YouTube, what's going to happen with Twitch. Imagine if YouTube actually buys out Twitch like they're saying. I'm trying to future-proof myself. Yes, I need your help. You know, the past 2 months, April and May, up to and now, this week is crazy, by the way. This week looks like the Watch Dogs playthrough is going to be doing really well. We got Wolf Among Us tonight. We've got Among the Sleep that I'm going to be checking out tomorrow. And we've got Mario Kart 8 on Friday. So we've got a shitload of stuff coming up this week that I know is going to be popular. But up to now, April and May have been slow. And, you know, it's honest. It's the games. The games sucked or there was nothing coming out. And I know that later this year, now that I've seen the release schedule for later this year, are you kidding me? We got so many effing games coming out near the end of this year, it's going to be overload. We're going to have too much good stuff going on later this year, which is always a good thing. But up to now, it's been slow. So yeah, of course, I need your help. If you ever have considered becoming a paid subscriber on Twitch TV, now is the time. I could definitely use the help. I could use the support, you know? Rather than having to worry about fluctuating stupid ad revenue on Twitch, which basically doesn't even work half the time, you know, to have people who consistently are helping me out on a monthly basis by being a paid subscriber, that's a lot more dependable than, say, the stupid fluctuating ad revenue, right? Today, I was planning on playing since 2 p.m. That didn't happen because I didn't get to sleep. I had all these thoughts and things going through my head. I couldn't fall asleep till like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the effing morning. Then I woke up, and of course I wanted to go live at 3:30. Couldn't do that because now I got emails up the wazoo from different people, including my tax attorney, this woman who is my next door neighbor now in Washington, who actually is on the board for the condo association there, and since 1999 she's been a part of it, so she's going to help me out with, you know, the company's contact with the utilities and all that. I've got all this stuff going on, and I'm just so overwhelmed with it, you know, that I can't be consistent, and I want to be. I wish I could have been here for you guys earlier today. I didn't do that, and I'll warn you. I said it before. It's going to continue like this. It's going to be like this for a while until we're out there in Washington. We're set up. We've got internet. We've got the equipment set up, which is going to take several days to a week once we're out there to even get that stuff set up. You might not even see it or hear from me in days when I'm out there, and you know, I'm very appreciative of those of you who are being considerate, who are understanding. You know, I'm doing my best, but it is what it is. It's just a different kind of nature of the business versus a business with doors that I can open 9 to 5, and I can have people running the store for me. I run my own business. I don't have someone who can cover for me when something comes up or there's some extenuating circumstance. So, thank you. Thank you for those of you who watch my content. Thanks for those of you who support me. It's funny because yesterday I saw a tweet on Twitter that really, really made me feel good, quite honestly. And the tweet was someone who I never heard from before. They were a newcomer, and they said, I just got turned on to Darksydephil after watching his Mega Man X playthrough from a couple years back. Then I started checking out his current stuff, and it's all great. Why does everyone hate this guy? This is ridiculous. And I responded to that guy, and I said, listen, man, just because you made that tweet, you're going to be bombarded with a bunch of hate tweets because there's such losers who sit on Twitter and just look for people to tweet my name to attack them. So here's what the approach you got to take. Ignore all that white noise bullshit. Just sit down and watch a few of my videos and judge for yourself. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's perfectly fine. But if you judge it for yourself in an environment where you're not listening to all the white noise around you, you're probably going to end up liking it. Now, I don't know 100%, but you probably will. Because most people who just watch my content like it. It's the people who listen to the white noise, who have the wool pulled over their eyes. Those are the people that get caught up in the drama queen bullshit, right? And those are the people who are like, oh, I can't put up with this. And then they, you know, that's what happens.